So let's start with the strength section first. Palantir is in the business of data analytics far longer than many companies, and since starting it is handling use cases that many companies still don't attempt to do as of today. So in short, they are comfortable with handling a large amount of data from different type of sources and turn into actionable insight in some of the most complex use case scenarios globally. From early days, it focused on how to quantitatively assess the impact of software in an enterprise and large organization setting. In my opinion, and as I have seen in my industry, in many digital implementation projects, somehow Palantir has grasped the idea of enterprise software better than many peers in terms of one-stop end-to-end solution instead of piecewise solution approach that has a historical failure rate of more than 85% in B2B industry. Alex Karp embraced the fact that he is not perfect CEO and instead his focus on delivering the value to Palantir client instead of deploying PR to improve his own image. US commercial growth and increasing foothold in US enterprise setting with several big contracts is probably the strongest point from the earnings. The US globally leads in enterprise software, and what happens in the US largely spreads to other parts of the world with time. So good strong point in their favor. It has gone from $29 million from 2018 to 201 million in 2021. It is 5x growth in 4 years, and it's forming the start of exponential curve growth period, and would be interesting to see if that maintains in coming years. He said that US commercial revenue is expected to go 2x in 2022 also, while answering the question of Jefferies analyst. People may argue that they don't know what Palantir does actually. So it is very important that people closely listen what their clients are saying. I keep a strong view on seeing their impact with many clients that they are a league above the rest of the peers when it comes to capturing time to value, and as organizations are growing, it's becoming even more apparent. People go to Palantir despite the stigma liberal media has created around it. Even after SPAC adjustments, the commercial growth was 76 to 77% year on year. This meant that the SPAC added nearly 55 to 56% in first year over the total commercial revenue of 2020. This was huge. A new go-to-market channel, and in less than a year, it led to significant growth. Palantir has zero debt and $2.3 billion of cash, 41% of year-on-year revenue growth, free cash flow of $420 million, and guidance of 30% and more revenue growth moving forward, $3.8 billion of remaining deal value. These are very strong numbers, and there is no concern about the company going underwater. So they have acquired a lifeline, and it's up to them now to get the execution right. Alex mentioned continued commitment to product investment as the highest priority to maintain a competitive edge. The biggest strength for Palantir is still that it allows whole new industry-specific operating systems to be built and deployed in almost no time. This is even more impressive in emerging and frontier industries that is increasing the adoption and reduce the cash conversion cycle of many data analytics dependent industries in days to come. Foundry is an industry agnostic product and has some of the largest companies using it for some of the most complex use cases. In case of crisis or a client looking to jump leaps above many players in market they are not present or traditionally weak, its founding favors from many. If you are unsure of how good Palantir products are, don't listen to Palantir bulls, but listen to Palantir haters, and they will tell how scared they are because of its insanely strong technology. So that summarizes pretty much what I felt some of the strongest points that came out of the earning and recent press releases. Let's move to the opportunity section now. Europe is a lot of work in progress this year, and results are expected to be seen more in 2023 onwards. But overall looks like they have focused and somewhat conventional sales approach adopted for Europe, which in my opinion is good thinking. European B2B market is very different from the USA. Reopening could be something that could kickstart new rounds of growth in Europe in commercial sector. Alex said that in his experience, the US government business is cyclical. And though amplitude matters, the growth curve or the trend is still up. And whenever new contracts come, they are going to be a sizable amount. The way he spoke and mentioned the length of 15 years period looks like they have had deeper insight into government business for a very long time to come. He did mention something related to re-entry for barriers and it's going to be in the right direction. He also mentioned that they are after some of the biggest deals in the government business despite the deteriorating lumpiness. He said that the baseline is 30% and that should not deteriorate further, but our focus is how to bring it back to where it was last year. That is 70% year on year. So if the focus is to get government business back to the high numbers and they expect government business not to go below the baseline of 30% in any case, and they also expect US commercial to grow 2x and expect at least some early fruits in Europe and other regions, it should add up to revenue far more than 30%, which they are currently issuing as guidance for 2022. So in my opinion, the 30% guidance for 22 is like baseline with not much included from any of the new contracts and effort. So if the execution improves this year, there might be significant upside in the revenue growth. He also mentioned that by far US has largely picked the companies that it will partner in long term in AI and software, which means the entry for new player is really tough. Also, the companies that have government business outside the crucial programs are also partially screwed. So it dictates a good tailwind in longer term for Palantir. Let's see how it unfolds in days to come. Alex made a categorical statement that we are not going to issue a lot of SBC anymore, and he quoted a sum of $9 million range, which sounded reasonable. It wasn't clear that it was quarterly or annually, but if that number is quarterly, still reasonable. The biggest opportunity for Palantir is how they make their product more modular, and this is getting more and more priority in the upcoming go-to-market strategy as per Alex's comment. It's a code to be cracked, but looks like that Palantir is no longer fighting it, but accepted that they need to figure out how to get it done and how to get their products in hand of as many people as possible. He made a very big statement that went under the radar. He said companies are paying a lot for consumption and computing. In short, he said that their product strategy will reduce the consumption and compute budget for clients. This, when added with the strength of Palantir Foundry as the strongest enterprise platform, can be a killer combination. He said something like to productize compute, which I interpret as that compute and consumption charges will be proportional to the module and the product relative value generation instead of current business metrics used in industry today. I'm actually surprised that this information is missed by almost all, including me during the live call. See, last time when a company looked this close on how the consumption metrics work in cloud industry, it gave rise to Snowflake. So this is something, if they can figure it out, could be very disruptive for many companies in days to come. For a very long time, people like me have been believing that Palantir could be a great company. But there are always questions that what will make this company so great and what are the signs we need to watch to see that this company is on the right path. This call actually answered some of these questions, and this is what I gathered. They need to have more focus on modular projects. They need to expand sales to reach to new clients. They need to get back government business to high growth number. They need to maintain the momentum in US commercial growth that they have received now. They need to figure out the holy grail of Foundry cutting edge performance delivery in a way that clients' overall consumption and compute budget is also positively impacted. A productized compute and consumption approach, it needs a lot of work though. They need to invest and build products early that they have started sensing a future requirement. They look extremely focused on addressing the biggest bottleneck in their sales process, that how to give IT teams what they want instead of overwhelming them with a product that makes them defensive and engage in a passive aggressive behavior. He mentioned the quality of talent Palantir is getting is the highest quality they have ever got in the past, and many of the top talent that left the company are also coming back. He shared that the pilot phase for clients can now be completed in days, and they are working on 2 to 3 of these at a given time. And this effort is additional to the modularization effort that they are working with clients and mass market products. The pilot clients are the one who doesn't want a modular solution. These are clients who want the whole foundry thing, which means a $5 million plus entry ticket, significant revenue for Palantir. He also discussed that clients are now focused on hiring the right people who can start working with Foundry from day one, and this is where they are working very closely with clients. In reality, Foundry enables average smart people to write software, which is beyond their capability most of the times. Opportunity to train people seems like a low-hanging fruit to help Palantir client and looks like something they have decided to take notice of it now. He dropped the name of Chrysler Fiat as the client. I never knew that they were a client of Palantir, and it goes back to many unknown clients who are the top companies, but we don't know. He also dropped hints about Palantir clientele of banks and pharma companies in Switzerland. Historically, Palantir leaned towards companies with strong engineering talent and culture as a client, but looks like now it's getting more and more standard business type. So that's a good opportunity to capture new business. This is all from the opportunity that I picked during the call. So this is all from my side. And I hope some of the points that I made in this SWOT analysis, you might find them helpful in updating your thesis. Please be advised that the purpose of this video is to educate and teach tools on how to deploy strategic thinking on business and investment problem in an outside-in manner. All contents are presented for education, information, and entertainment purpose only, and no portion of this content should be used as financial advice. Please do share your feedback in comment sections. And if you enjoy the content, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Goodbye.